BTS member Jimin, well known as Baby Mochi, full name Park Jimin, was born on October 13, 1995, in Busan, South Korea. From a very young age, he showed a strong passion for music and dance. While most children were still discovering their interests, Jimin was already training in contemporary dance and dreaming of performing on stage one day. But his journey to success was far from easy. Before becoming one of the world's biggest K-pop stars, he had to leave his hometown, work through intense training, and overcome countless challenges. So how did a young boy from Busan become a global superstar loved by millions around the world? Let's begin Jimin's incredible journey, the foundation of a future star falling in love with dance. From a very young age, Jimin wasn't interested in doing things halfway. Whenever he discovered something he loved, he gave it everything he had. For him, that passion was dance. He began learning contemporary dance, a style that demands not only physical strength but also emotional expression. Every movement had to tell a story, and every performance required complete control of the body. It wasn't easy, especially for someone so young, but Jimin enjoyed every challenge that came with it. As the years passed, his dedication became impossible to ignore. Teachers noticed that he never settled for good enough. If a routine wasn't perfect, he practiced again. If he made one mistake, he started from the beginning without complaining. What separated Jimin from many others wasn't natural talent alone. It was his mindset. He understood early in life that improvement comes from consistency, not shortcuts. Without realizing it, those long hours in the practice room were preparing him for something much bigger than he could imagine. The opportunity that changed everything. As Jimin's skills continued to grow, people around him began encouraging him to think beyond local performances. Around that time, Big Hit Entertainment was holding auditions for new trainees. The company wasn't considered one of South Korea's biggest agencies, but for young performers chasing their dreams, every opportunity mattered. Jimin decided to take the chance. Walking into an audition is easy. Walking in with the confidence to believe you belong there is something completely different. He performed with the determination he had built through years of training. Instead of trying to copy someone else, he focused on showing the best version of himself. That decision paid off. He successfully earned a trainee position. For many people, getting accepted would have felt like the biggest achievement of their lives. For Jimin, it meant leaving behind the life he knew and stepping into a world where nothing would come easily. It was the beginning of a completely new chapter, one filled with uncertainty, pressure, and expectations unlike anything he had experienced before. A dream that demanded everything. Life as a trainee wasn't glamorous. Most fans only see the finished performances, but very few see what happens before an artist ever steps onto a stage. Jimin's daily routine revolved around endless practice. Dance rehearsals, vocal training, fitness sessions, performance evaluations, and constant self-improvement became part of everyday life. Competition was intense because every trainee was fighting for the same dream. Instead of letting that pressure break him, Jimin used it as motivation. He often stayed behind after scheduled practice, repeating difficult choreography until every movement felt natural. Even after exhausting days, he believed there was always room to improve. That relentless discipline slowly transformed him into one of the strongest performers among the trainees. But no matter how hard he worked, one question remained unanswered. Would all these sacrifices actually lead to his debut, or would his dream end before it ever truly began? The answer was closer than anyone expected. The moment everything changed, the final countdown to debut. Becoming a trainee was only the beginning. The real challenge was earning a place in a debut group. Every evaluation mattered. Every practice session felt like an exam. One weak performance could leave a trainee wondering if their dream was slipping away. Jimin understood that nothing was guaranteed. Instead of relying on confidence, he relied on preparation. He spent countless hours refining every detail, his dancing, his vocals, his expressions, and even the way he carried himself on stage. Former trainees have often described those years as physically and mentally exhausting. The pressure to improve never stopped, but Jimin had already made a decision. No matter how difficult the journey became, giving up was never part of his plan. Then, after months of uncertainty, the news finally arrived. He had officially been selected to debut. For the first time, the dream he had been chasing for years was becoming reality. It wasn't just a personal victory. It was the reward for every sacrifice, every late-night practice, and every moment when he chose to keep going instead of quitting. A new beginning with BTS. On June 13, 2013, Jimin officially debuted as a member of BTS. Excitement was everywhere, but the reality was very different from what many people imagine today. BTS came from a small entertainment company without the resources or industry influence that many larger agencies already had. The members weren't entering the industry as favorites. They had to prove themselves from the very beginning. For Jimin, this meant adapting quickly. Every live performance, every music show, and every public appearance became another opportunity to show audiences what he could do. Fans immediately noticed his powerful dancing and expressive stage presence. Even during the group's earliest performances, Jimin had a unique ability to make every movement feel emotional rather than mechanical. Whether the stage was large or small, he performed with the same intensity. That commitment slowly began attracting attention. People weren't just watching BTS. Many were beginning to notice Jimin himself, winning hearts one performance at a time. As BTS continued releasing new music, Jimin's confidence grew with every comeback. He wasn't satisfied with repeating the same performance style. Instead, he challenged himself to improve every single era. His dancing became sharper, his vocals became stronger, his facial expressions became even more natural and emotionally connected to each song. Fans loved his ability to completely transform depending on the concept. One performance could show powerful charisma, while the next revealed a softer, emotional side. That versatility became one of his biggest strengths. Behind the scenes, however, the hard work never stopped. While audiences saw polished performances lasting only a few minutes, those moments were built on hundreds of hours of preparation. Jimin believed every stage deserved his absolute best, regardless of how many people were watching. That mentality slowly turned him into one of the most respected performers in K-pop. But even as his popularity continued to grow, a much more difficult battle was about to begin. Success brought new opportunities, but it also brought expectations, pressure, and personal struggles that very few fans knew about, and those challenges would test Jimin more than ever before. The price of perfection behind the smile. As Jimin's popularity continued to grow, so did the expectations placed on him. Fans admired his flawless performances, but very few realized how much pressure he was putting on himself behind the scenes. Jimin has openly shared that he is someone who constantly evaluates his own performances. Even after receiving praise, he would often focus on the small mistakes that nobody else noticed. He wanted every stage to be better than the last. That mindset helped him become an incredible performer, but it also meant he was often his own toughest critic. There were moments when he questioned whether he was doing enough. Instead of celebrating his achievements, he kept raising the standard for himself. Many artists compete with others. Jimin's biggest competition was always the person he saw in the mirror. That relentless desire to improve became one of the biggest reasons fans respected him, not just for his talent, but for his dedication. Turning pressure into strength. The pressure of performing on some of the world's biggest stages could have overwhelmed anyone, but Jimin refused to let pressure define him. Instead, he treated every challenge as another opportunity to grow. Whether it was improving his live vocals, perfecting difficult choreography, or delivering emotional performances, he continued working harder with every comeback. One of the qualities fans admire most about Jimin is his versatility. He can perform powerful choreography with incredible precision, then moments later deliver a soft, emotional performance that feels completely different. That ability didn't happen overnight. It was built through years of discipline, practice, and an unwavering commitment to improvement. Every new era showed a slightly different version of Jimin, more confident, more experienced, and more complete as an artist. It became clear that he wasn't satisfied with success. He wanted to keep evolving, creating his own legacy. As the years passed, Jimin began proving himself not only as a member of BTS, but also as an artist with his own unique identity. His solo music introduced fans to a more personal side of him. Through songs, performances, and artistic concepts, he expressed emotions and experiences in a way that connected with listeners around the world. His solo releases earned international recognition, achieved major chart success, and demonstrated that his influence extended far beyond group activities. But despite the records and achievements, one thing remained unchanged. Jimin continued to approach every performance with the same humility and determination that had shaped him since his trainee days. For him, success was never the finish line. It was motivation to keep growing. And while millions admired him for his talent, those closest to him knew that his greatest strength wasn't his voice or his dancing. It was his character. That side of Jimin, the person beyond the spotlight, is what makes his story truly unforgettable. A legacy that inspires millions more than an idol. Over the years, Jimin has earned countless achievements, broken records, and performed on some of the world's biggest stages. But if you ask many fans what makes him special, most won't start by talking about awards. They'll talk about the person he is. Whether he's comforting a nervous member, thanking fans after a concert, or showing genuine humility during interviews, Jimin has built a reputation for kindness and sincerity. Despite becoming one of the most recognizable faces in K-pop, he has never stopped showing gratitude to the people who supported him from the very beginning. That humility is one of the reasons millions of fans continue to admire him, not just as an artist, but as a person. His journey proves that success doesn't have to change who you are. Sometimes, it simply reveals your true character. The impact of Jimin. Jimin's influence extends far beyond music. His performances have inspired countless young dancers to pursue their dreams. His dedication has motivated people to work harder toward their own goals, and his story has reminded millions that talent alone isn't enough. Discipline, consistency, and perseverance make the real difference. Around the world, fans celebrate his birthday through charity projects, community events, and meaningful donations, reflecting the positive impact he has had on people's lives. From a young student with a dream to an artist recognized across the globe, Jimin's journey has inspired a new generation of performers, and perhaps that's his greatest achievement. Not the records, not the awards, but the lives he has inspired along the way. The story continues. Every great story has defining moments, but Jimin's story is still being written. With every new performance, every new song, and every new chapter of his career, he continues to challenge himself and grow as an artist. Looking back, it's remarkable to think that everything began with one dream, years of relentless practice, and the courage to take a single opportunity. Today, millions know him as Park Jimin, one of the most influential artists of his generation. But behind the global fame is still the same person who believed that hard work could turn dreams into reality. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson his journey teaches us. Dreams don't become reality overnight. They become reality because someone refuses to stop believing in them. If you enjoyed Jimin's story, you'll definitely love our documentaries on Jungkook and V. They're already available on the channel, so make sure to watch them next. And tell me in the comments, which BTS member should I make the next documentary about? Your suggestion might be the next video on this channel. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite Jimin era, and what do you admire most about him? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more BTS documentaries, and I'll see you in the next one.